Hey everyone! I hope that you guys are doing amazing wherever you're around the world. My name is Shikha and I welcome you to my channel. As always, I'm so grateful that you're listening, subscribing, and commenting. I do appreciate the support. And if you're interested in supporting me further, you can do that by going to my Ko-fi or Patreon link. They're linked in the description below. In this one, I wanted to speak to you guys about something a little bit more serious than normal, I guess. Something where I think it might be one of my pet peeves, actually. It's one of those things that really irks me about humanity in general, especially when I see one of my friends doing it, and I'm thinking to myself, why are you doing this? So let me explain what I'm talking about. I have this thing, and I think I've done a video on this before, where I have this thing where we should never congratulate ourselves on our successes too much, or lament about our failures too much, or about someone else's success or failure, because everything is transient. Everything happens just for a moment, and then things change very fast, and you might be on top of the world one day and then you're at the bottom of the valley the next day. And I just imagine that if you're that kind of person where you're congratulating yourself too much and you think, this is it, I've made it, I'm done, and then something hits you and then you have to kind of pull yourself up again, you might get into a mode where you're like, you don't even care anymore. You don't even want to go through the peaks and the valleys. You just don't even try anymore because it's so difficult to pull yourself up from the valleys and then see yourself drop from the peak. So that might be one of the situations that comes up. But one of the main things that does come up from this is I notice a lot of people, and I'm sure I do this as well, that when we are at our peak, we start, I don't want to say making fun of, but that is literally how it happens, is that we start making fun of the people around us who are not at the peak. I have many instances in my mind of examples I can think of where a friend of mine who was lamenting about the fact that she doesn't have a boyfriend and she's crying about it for months or years on end. Oh my God, I'm alone. Gets a boyfriend. And then she starts berating all of those girlfriends around her who are not in a relationship. And then she starts saying things like, oh my God, I can't believe they're so pathetic. I can't believe they're by themselves and they're alone and things like that. Forgetting the fact that a few weeks ago or a few months ago, she herself was alone and lamenting about the fact that she was single. This is just one example. Or it might be something like, a person who was crying about money because she didn't have enough money or he didn't have enough money a year ago, suddenly gets money or starts making money out of the venture that he or she was working on, and then starts making fun of all those people who don't have money, forgetting about the fact that just a few months ago or a few weeks, few years ago, that person they themselves didn't have money, and they were crying over the fact that they didn't have anything, and they were borrowing from other people, and other people were taking care of them or giving them things for free, etc. Of course, these are very superficial examples, and most people are not blatantly like that. Some people are, but not most people. Most people will do it in a passive aggressive way in their head, or they might get angry at the person in their head, and I'm sure I do it very passive aggressively. But I think this video is a reminder for me, as well as everyone else who's listening to it, that literally, as I said, everything is momentary. Just the fact that you're alive for a moment is actually one of the main things that we should be focused on. Is the fact that, yeah, I might be very successful right now, but I'll be dead soon, and then what's going to matter? It's not going to matter. No one's going to remember that I was successful for a few years, or I made these many millions of dollars, or whatever it might be, thousands of dollars, and no one's going to remember as soon as you're dead what you did with your life, right? Very few things will be remembered, and eventually a generation after, nothing is going to be remembered, and a few generations after, everything will be forgotten. Even if you were one of the most important people on the planet, how many people do still remember Alexander the Great, who was supposedly one of the greatest conquerors in the world? Not that many. Yes, our history books are filled with some of examples of his life, but really, who remembers him as an individual? What he did, how he was, how he laughed, how he smiled, what he looked like? No one on the planet right now would really have a clue, unless someone was doing a thesis on that or something. But about his personality, about his likes and dislikes, what kind of clothes did he wear, none of those details are known right now, and no one really gives a rat's ass about it. And that's usually and that's about a person that's was really important in his time, Alexander the Great. Or you can think about anyone really. someone who did amazing things with their life, Mother Teresa or Mahatma Gandhi even, yeah, we remember their names, but we don't actually really remember any of the details about them. Some people do perhaps, and that might last for a generation, and then a few generations later, nothing will be remembered by them, about them, right? And so really, it is very momentary, very transient. Our lives, these moments that we're leading right now, this aliveness that we feel at this moment in time, it's going to be gone in a second. In a snap of a finger, it's going to be gone. And so these ups and downs that we get so excited about, and then we get so sad about, and then we get so excited about, and then we get sad about, these ups and downs really are not going to matter. Actually, an up or down, like even a few weeks ago, you might have been like crying and bawling, oh my God, my life is ending. I can't believe this happened. And a week later, you don't remember what you were crying about. This happens to me all the time. I'll be sitting there and something terrible has happened to me. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, the universe hates me. I can't believe this happened. And then a few minutes later, or a few hours later maybe, I don't even remember what I was crying or upset about. I don't even remember. It's completely gone from my memory. And I was thinking to myself, why did I make such a big deal? What was going on with me? What was I even crying about? And these are just a day-to-day kind of thing. I can't even imagine. Years ago, I'm sure I was so upset about things, and I can't remember what I was upset about. And so things really change fast. They really do. And so in general, of course, be grateful for what's going on in your life. I'm grateful for this life that I have, for the body that I have, for my senses, and for my limbs working properly, and for my family and things like that. But in general, as I said, things move so fast that be grateful, but don't over-congratulate yourself for anything, or over-lament upon yourself, berate yourself for anything. Because really, literally, the next day you could be in the exact opposite position, right? Exact opposite from where you are right now in this moment in time. And I've seen this happen many times where one of my girlfriends might be complaining about money and, oh my God, I don't have any. And the next day she gets an offer from a company to work for her and they give her like $1,000 or $10,000. And she literally goes from one day to the next. And so it's literally like that. Life changes so fast, and things and opportunities come very fast. Businesses change very fast. The environment is constantly changing. This world we live in is constantly changing. Coronavirus that was completely unknown a few months ago is kind of completely changing the scenario of the world, where people can't travel anymore and they're stuck at home and schools are closed down. And so things change very fast, in good ways and bad. And so literally the lesson here is don't over-congratulate yourself about anything, really. Just don't get too overexcited about it, because it might change. Be grateful, obviously, but just don't rub it in other people's faces. Like, don't be like, oh my God, I'm better than you kind of thing because I have this and you don't. Because that exact thing might be taken away from you, and you might be sitting there the next day, that other person has it and you don't. And you might look very foolish if that did happen. And for me, it happens all the time, where I'm sitting there thinking to myself, wow, I can't believe I thought that I was all that when all of a sudden I have nothing, right? In general, though, we are lucky to be able to be alive in this moment in time, whatever we have or don't have, right? Obviously, that gratitude should always be with us. But in general, just don't put anyone else down for what you just got, or for what you were crying about a few days ago. And it just doesn't make any sense. Like, there's no comparison there. Everyone's living their own life. And the reality is you might not be in the same position a few hours, a few days later. And so just be humble, do your thing, be grateful, and just keep on trudging. And just don't compare. Right? Don't put anyone else down for what they're going through, because they might be on the top of the world tomorrow, and you might just be sitting there thinking, wow, I'm such an idiot. Right? I'm sure those people who were, J.K. Rowling, when she used to write and she was poor and she would write all these stories about herself, and they would maybe perhaps make fun of her or something. All those people probably like just killing themselves over the fact that she's one of the richest women in the world because of her books, right? So you can never see where one person is going to go in the future, and you can never see what's going to happen, really, not only with your life but anyone else's. So we're not in a position to judge or to complain or to berate or do any of that stuff, because it might change very, very quickly. I hope this makes sense. I know it's a little bit of an abstract, weird topic, but I really just wanted to do this because I've been noticing a lot of this, not only in myself but in other people, and I was like, let's just do a video about it to raise consciousness and awareness about it, not only within myself but for other people as well. If you have any questions, comment below and I shall do a video format answer. And if you want to support me further, you can do that by going to my Patreon or Ko-fi link. They're both in the description below. And I shall see you guys the next time around. Bye for now.